Hey guys, it's James, also known as Captain Jack. We are here on August 1st, and man, what a week it has been. After just a few submittals to a couple different YouTubers and not really thinking a whole lot of it, but ended up in a few different YouTube videos this week. And so I wanted to do something a little bit different and do a live react. So I figured we would go ahead and live react to the Video Nerd. I went ahead and submitted that one in. That was a bit of my older setup. I did a roast for Bitwit and then also TechSource, and ended up with a seal of approval on TechSource, come to think of it. So just absolutely crazy. So just stick along with me. We're going to do some live reactions here and we'll go through it. So we are going to start off with the Video Nerd. I actually made it into the thumbnail, and he actually had two different thumbnails for this video, because this is definitely different than the first one that he posted. So let's check this one out.
Now I feel like our friend James isn't the average setup builder. This looks...
This is true, sir. This is very true.
$5 per month. The link will be on the screen and in my description.
The first streaming setup is from James Clark, also known as Captain Jack IV on all socials. James is from the United States.
Let's give him a round of applause for actually knowing how to say my name properly. I mean, it's not necessarily the easiest to pronounce, but that is exactly how my handle is pronounced. So good job, sir.
Works in IT as a field service engineer and technical writer, and besides that he's also a corgi dad, which I guess means he has a dog, and
yes,
he's been building custom PCs for 18 years. He says he's a power user and not a minimalist, and I guess that's pretty clear if you look at this picture. However,
be aware that this is these are some older photos that I had submitted in. So this was before I had upgraded some of the keycaps, done some other changes in the setup between video cards and upgrades to the stream PC and such. This is actually my old 280X build for the stream rig, but let's keep going.
I do have to say, even though it's a lot of stuff, the cable management has been done extremely well, and as a result of that, even though his setup has a lot of stuff, it still looks very clean. Now it looks like James has 3 PCs, one on top, one behind the monitors, and then one on the bottom here. I would assume one is a gaming PC, then a streaming PC, and then some kind of server. However, looking at the info he gave me, this is a gaming PC, then this here is his streaming PC, and then this PC, instead of being a server, it's a portable PC. I guess if he needs to travel for work or for something else, instead of taking a laptop, he's just taking his portable.
I do love the fact that he used an H510 flow for this. That's fitting. Not quite it's not quite that bad. I know the H210 is not the smallest case in the world. I have considered going to the SSUPD Meshalicious to replace it, but I've been throwing some other things around, but yes, this is accurate.
PC, which I gotta respect. Now besides his 3 PCs, he also has a few gaming consoles. He has a Halo Edition Xbox One, a God of War 4 Edition PS4 Pro, and then also a Nintendo Switch, and he told me he wants the Nintendo OLED. Now I feel like our friend James isn't the average setup builder. Now his desk is from
also
IKEA.
True.
I guess he wants to relate to the normal crowd somehow. Now I have to say this...
Okay, so the desk is... I've been using IKEA desks for 10-15 years, probably about 10 years in my setups now, and they serve a great purpose. However, the regular ones, the Linmon tabletops, they're full of paper, they don't hold up, they're not very sturdy, so I wanted something a little bit sturdier. I like the butcher block countertop, but it just wasn't quite what I was looking for, and I really like the Ekbakken countertop because it has that concrete gray color, and it kind of blends in the setup. It's almost like that neutral tones, and that's really what I was looking for when I built it.
This tiny PC looks amazing. Usually I'm absolutely not a fan of green, not at all, but in this case, I mean, I don't hate it. Now it looks like
and I'm kind of the same way. I don't really care for green, but I named that one the Green Arrow for Oliver Queen, and so I call it Oliver in my setup. I don't know why. I don't know why it struck me like that, but that's what I felt. I wanted something green. The white and green felt really cool, especially with the LL series fans. So that's why it's green. And some of the later stuff, I moved it to white just to be symmetric for Setup Wars. I didn't want it to like stand out as green. And so for Setup Wars, I changed it to white, but its name is still the Green Arrow.
The big PC on the bottom is his gaming PC. The case is the...
Oh, and that photo is really old because that has my old Founders 3070, which was, it went Founders 3070, EVGA for the Win3 Ultra 3070, which is now the Stream PC, and now 3080. So that is 3 graphics cards ago, which was January of 2020. January 2021 is when that got upgraded.
PC. The case is the Mountain Mods U2 UFO custom case. He says he's had it for 10 years now and that you very rarely see it. The CPU is a Ryzen 3900X, that's the same as I have. The GPU is an RTX 3070 and he has 32 gigabytes of RAM. I really like this keyboard he has. It's a wireless one as well as the 2 mice here, and it looks like he has 2 of these keyboards.
Yeah, that's actually the Stream PC keyboard, which is the Keychron K1V4, or the new version of it is the Keychron K5. So I think the next photo he shows the
name of the key.
Yes, he shows this photo, which is the new version, which is currently what I'm using. It's just a regular black G915, but I put white keycaps on it, and then the other one is the Keychron. So he had 2 photos of the same keyboard with different keycaps.
Keyboards is the Logitech G915 Tactile. He added white keycaps to one of them. And the mice are the Logitech G502 Lightspeed and the Logitech G Pro X Lightspeed. The mousepad is the Logitech G PowerPlay. I guess he likes Logitech.
I do very much.
I thought the speakers looked pretty basic, but they're from Bose, so I guess they will be pretty good or at least decent. However, I really don't like the look of them, and I feel like some white speakers.
And that was before I did a lot of changes to the setup. So I actually pulled the docking station off the desk. I changed out the case. I added the shelf up top. I changed out the docking station for this. I added Grogu, my little Lego buddy, over to the left, and then moved that speaker over to the left a little bit more. But again, I agree with him. I'd really like some different speakers. Thinking maybe like the Yamaha HS5s would be really cool, but we'll see.
Speakers or some black speakers, just some very clean ones would look amazing in this setup. The 3 monitors are from Acer, they are 1080p and 144Hz, and the TV on top is a 50-inch Samsung TV. By the way, links to all the gear in these setups will be in the description. I made kits for all of them, so if you're looking for something specific, you can definitely take a look at that. The webcam he's using is an Elgato Facecam. He's also using an Elgato Stream Deck, and I'm pretty surprised he doesn't have an Elgato Wave XLR audio interface. He does use a Go XLR one. The mic is an Audio
There's a reason for that.
ATR 2100X. I have never heard of this mic, and if there's one thing I would immediately change in this setup, it would be adding an Elgato Wave XLR. The reason I would is that it gives you access to Wave Link, which gives amazing audio control on stream. I'm using it right now connected to my Shure SM7B, and the Wave XLR also integrates with an Elgato Stream Deck, which as you see he has in his setup, so a Wave XLR would be an excellent addition. Next setup is from Luke.
Okay, so I had considered the Wave XLR. I had indeed. Sorry about that. All right, let's resume. I had considered the Wave XLR from Elgato, but the biggest thing was I didn't like the fact that it only had one volume control knob on it. I really wasn't impressed at the fact that I couldn't, like change anything on the fly. I like the fact that I could do independent muting and control of that a little bit easier. And so that was the main reason why I didn't go with the Wave XLR. You know, the Stream Deck is great, but I don't have the XL. I only had so much space on my desk, and I don't want to have to control different aspects of it with the Stream Deck by like finding what that little symbol means and doing those adjustments. No, I have a dedicated slider, a dedicated mute button for it, and then it's independent. Plus I have line in and line out capabilities. So the Go XLR Mini was definitely the way to go for me. So, all right, so let's go to Bitwit now. So this is a roast from Bitwit. This one's pretty good.
Okay, first off, you've got 3 PCs, and why does it look like they evolved from each other?
I love the Pokemon reference.
This one on the bottom is clearly the final form. What a unit. Do you have enough gym badges for that thing to obey you?
Absolutely.
I will give you a pass for having it on the floor.
Elite Four Master, absolutely.
Because I'm not sure if the Earth's crust can support that thing. I'm not sure whether your PC needs a smaller case or a diet plan. Meanwhile, the top system looks astronomically high off the ground. This is the first PC I've ever seen that triggers my fear of heights. At this point, the RGB lighting is just so airplanes don't crash into it. I wonder if a chopper could make it up there on a single tank. At least the ambient temps should be pretty low in the stratosphere.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
The setup has so much screen real estate, you've had to put up missing posters for your mouse cursor.
Yep.
Half of these monitors aren't even yours. They just got sucked into your room by your system's gravitational pull. Somehow I feel this small panel on the wall is the nerdiest part of this setup. What's it monitoring? Your virginity levels? Doesn't look like it has much to report.
Oof.
I will admit, your cable
I am married, Kyle. All I'll say is that I've consummated. Anyways.
management is remarkable and deserves high praise. So kudos to you. That's awesome. It is amazing what you can achieve without a sex life. My Valhalla setup, 9700 KF.
Yeah, sex life on the other hand. No comment. All right, moving on. so this was the big surprise of this is today. I filmed this today on August 1st and was not expecting this to happen today. So just absolutely crazy. So let's hop into this one.
Coming in at number 4 is James and his epic battle station. What's so impressive about this setup already is the fact that it was able to squeeze in not 1 or 2, but 3 gaming PCs and a laptop in such a small space in his bedroom. And if you're still not
okay, not a bedroom. This is technically a secondary guest room in my house. So that sofa behind me is not a casting couch. It is for friends and family. If they want to come and stay over, they are more than welcome. It is not 1,000,000 degrees in here. This is not a thermonuclear reactor. It stays pretty cool in here with all the systems off. The only thing that stays on all the time are the servers. So there's that.
Not impressed, he has 2 additional PCs tucked away in his closet somewhere, which sadly I don't have any pictures of. But we got a 60 terabyte unraid NAS and a virtual machine / Plex server.
Unraid NAS is a basic AMD, low power system. The Plex server is a dual Xeon, 96 gigs of RAM with the dedicated GPU. It's a pretty stout machine, and that also does not include the network rack, which includes a Ubiquiti Dream Machine Pro, 16-port switch, a 10-port PoE switch, and then another 16 terabyte QNAP NAS as well. So there is a lot of heat, and that's exactly what this closet is behind me. I keep that door propped open right here for a reason, just so that it can get some airflow, but there is plenty of airflow in my house. I promise. It is not 1,000 degrees in here. It's fine.
So this man has a total of 5 systems in this room. Can you imagine the amount of heat this corner of the room produces on any given day?
When cryptocurrency mining with all 3 of them, oh yes, it is like an oven is on, and it just kind of radiates. But since Ethereum has kind of died down, I'm not making any extra money on the side with it. So
there is so much going on here that we need to break it down. But first, let's talk about the purpose of the setup and why James needs all these PCs and monitors.
I don't need, I want them. Let's clarify that.
So James is an IT specialist from North Carolina who likes to create content for his YouTube and stream on his spare time. And believe it or not, everything here has a purpose. It took him nearly 2 years to get the setup to this point for gaming, streaming, and working from home. Starting with the desk choice, James picked out a single back and countertop which conveniently fit perfectly between the walls, and he went with the regular Adil's legs instead of an Alex unit so that he can use the extra space underneath for leg room.
Correct.
To store his behemoth of a PC.
I also don't like drawers because I have ADHD. If something is in a drawer, it is out of sight, out of mind. I will forget about it, and then I collect junk, which I can't stand. So there's no Alex drawers in my setup.
Which we'll get into later. He doesn't really need much support in the middle since all his displays are mounted against the wall, so there isn't any direct weight applied in the center. We do have triple 27-inch 144Hz monitors hooked up against the wall using 3 separate arms, and above that is a 50-inch TV. I'm just very impressed that he was able to keep everything so damn organized and clean behind the monitors. I mean, look at this. There's a super long power strip in the back that allows him to easily plug in all of his devices, and he used a ton of Velcro straps to keep things attached on the wall. But more importantly, the Velcro allows him to easily swap the gear out in case he needs to upgrade something later down the line.
Yes, I will say that the middle monitor has since been upgraded to an Alienware AD 2721. I think that's what it is. I think that's the model. It's either AD or AW. I can't ever keep track of it, but it's the 1440p 240 hertz model from Alienware. That thing is absolutely wonderful. The fact that I was able to so quickly swap it out, it took me maybe 20 minutes to upgrade the entire thing in my setup. I didn't have to change DisplayPort cables or HDMI cables for anything else in my setup. It just plug and play, went in, plugged in. I was able to remove the power brick, gain some space on the wall, off to the races.
So that he installed an additional wall shelf to store some of his peripherals, and this also opens up space below that for additional gear like his Go XLR, Stream Deck, and an iPad. Excellent use of space here. For audio, he was able to fit a set of Bose Companion 2 speakers as the primary source, but when he's gaming or streaming, he brings out the Razer Naris and the Audio-Technica microphone that is nicely tucked away in the corner when not being used. With so much gear involved, James wanted to keep things simple with the peripherals by going wireless, mostly because he wants to be able to switch easily between the peripherals that he has on the shelf when he's swapping between PCs. Speaking of which, let's talk about the PCs and what the purpose of each one is, starting with the monster beneath. So this is the main gaming PC that's hooked up to 3 main monitors. This is essentially what powers the setup. It's got a Ryzen 9 5900X with 32 gigs of RAM and the EVGA RTX 3080 FTW3 Ultra. It's water cooled with tons of fans in here, and judging by how clean it is inside, he definitely cleans it often like he says.
I do.
PC on wheels.
There, if you want to see how I clean everything up and put everything back together, there is a video of that on my channel. I will put a link in the card, which is in that corner.
Also helps keep it separated from the carpet too. Moving on up to the streaming PC that sits on the desk. It's got another Ryzen 9 in here, but with an RTX 3070. This one is connected to the monitor that's hooked up to the wall via magnets, which is pretty cool. He basically uses the extra monitor to keep an eye on things like temperatures of his other PCs, his servers, and security feeds around the house.
I also keep the stream PC is hooked up to the big TV up top as well. Edgar doesn't mention this in the video, but it is indeed.
And then finally, we got the portable PC, also known as the Flex PC. It's mostly for show, but when he travels for work, which is about 60 to 80 days out of the year, he takes the PC with him along with its very own peripherals. It doesn't have the best specs in here, but it is used for work after all.
So I had to give him a slight correction. It's not technically used for work. I just use it to casually game if I'm traveling. So if I want to play some Forza or play some Warzone with my buddies or Apex Legends, God of War, something like that, it can still handle some of these AAA titles. Maybe not at the highest settings, but if I'm traveling, I took the old 1080p 144 hertz panel that I had, and I take that with me when I travel. And so that ticks the boxes for me.
Aside from the 3 PCs, he does have a work laptop that he docks on top of the main PC underneath, and 3 different consoles, each sitting on its very own shelf on the left side. I mean, this guy has it all. What's even more impressive is the way he has everything connected together for optimal synergy. For example, all consoles are connected to an automatic HDMI switch that runs to a capture card in the gaming PC. This allows him to use the headphones or speakers with all 3 of his consoles. The capture card from the gaming PC passes through the TV as well, so he can kick back on the sofa and play games. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of time this guy put into building this setup. The fact that he was able to accomplish so much in such a tiny space with synergy, excellent cable management, I mean, it's very impressive. It's not an
So I get a lot of questions. I've gotten a lot of questions about that, about how long did it take to put together. So I kind of sat down and tried to do some math, because really everything was kind of put together as I evolved through the setup over a few years. It's been almost 2.5 years at this point. And really the cables just kind of, as I went, it got more and more and more and more. And then I've changed some things like, putting the bricks above versus below, different things like that. And so if I had to do it again, all from scratch, it'd probably take me about 10 to 15 hours, give or take, just for cable management. And you really don't think about it because you're doing one thing at a time. That's just kind of how you have to work. My job before, what I was doing before, what I currently do now, was installing equipment, and so I knock things out, and that's just kind of how I operate on a normal basis. Is I do one thing and then I move on to my next task and my next task and my next task, and I try to make things as efficient as I can, which is the synergy part of it. If I want to pick up an Xbox controller because the NHL series isn't on any of the other console, isn't on PC, I can pick up the Xbox, open up NHL 2021, turn on the Xbox, it comes onto the capture card. If I don't want to play and sit down here and sit on the sofa, I can play it through the TV speakers, through the computer speakers, through my headphones, go wireless with the Naris. It really all depends on what I want to do. And I'm a person who loves options. And so if I can pick and choose how I want to do it, I'm about that. I'm more of a power user. As I say, the video nerd had said, I'm a power user. So I like to be able to have those options and different things and change up how I'm doing it. And so that really explains all of that. But total and setup, if I had to rebuild everything from scratch, it probably takes about 50 to 60 hours, give or take, to build every single PC, extensions, how much I've put into different where I'm putting the headphones and thought process, game planning, things like that. So it'd probably take me about 50 to 60 hours.
Easy thing to execute. So with that said, I'm honored to present James with the 49th seal of approval.
And that is
This setup
awesome.
nothing
That is
short
so
of
cool.
incredible, and I just want to say that I do admire the dedication that you put into creating such a masterpiece. Please hit me up on Discord or reach out at setupwarsprizes@gmail.com to claim your trophy and your free TechSource mousepad
Ooh,
of your choosing.
nice.
Personally, I think the white topo or even the black topo would look a lot better
That white topo would probably look pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
in your setup, but the choice is yours. Thank you, James, for blessing our eyes today with this setup.
Hey, thanks for looking at it, Edgar. And honestly, I stream and create YouTube content to create a community. I'm not looking for fame or fortune or anything that comes along with that. I want to share my passion with others, inspire others. I'm always here to answer questions. My mind kind of works like an encyclopedia, so I can remember every spec about everything. I can tell you about my first PC, going 15, 18 years ago, and how I've evolved since then. And what I really love about this is everybody's a little bit different. And so, that's really what I'm hoping to gain from this. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching today. Super crazy. I was featured in all 3 of these videos in a week. Not something I was expecting to happen. I submit it every now and then just because I'm proud of my work. I'm really happy with everything that I've accomplished with how my setup operates. I spend 8 hours a day minimum at work in this chair. And then if I want to game, or if I want to stream, it could be even longer. I did a 16-hour marathon stream for Apex the other month, and that was absolutely amazing. I have a great community that likes to play and be involved in some of those things. And so I created a place for myself that is comfortable. I enjoy spending time here, and it's a great place to be. But if you guys want to talk tech or become a part of my community or anything like that, the Discord link is in the description. I will put that down there. If you guys want to follow me on any of my socials, that's Captain Jack the Fourth, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Gaming. You can find me anywhere there. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.